Okay, you guys, it is Thursday afternoon, and these literary squares were due yesterday, and only a small handful of students have turned it in. And then the ones who did turn it in, several of them did not do it completely or appropriately. And I'm very, very concerned about this because you guys are going to be doing a project for the next 2 weeks that demands that you understand this speech. Okay, so I want to go over some things that I see that people are doing. Not all of you have done this, but see what people have done inappropriately, which has led you astray and in the wrong direction. So, step one, starting with step one, and I think that this is why so many people bombed last week's cats. Step one says click on the link for each literary term and watch the video. Okay, so when I go down here, I should click on alliteration. And there's a video here about alliteration, and I need to watch that video. I need to watch the whole video. Okay? So I'm going to watch the whole video, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to write a definition for alliteration in this box. So what I'm seeing is for the people who did do their definitions, 90% of them have the exact same definitions written in words that I don't know whether or not they even understand the words that they used. Which means that what most of my students did was go to Google, look for the definition, and copy and paste it into this box. The problem with that is that if you copy and paste it, one, I can't tell whether or not you understand what you said because they're not your words. And two, many of you didn't understand what you said because your examples then that you gave me of each device were totally off. You need to go back. You guys, you need to pause. You need to go back to this assignment and check it or do it. Because the next 2 weeks, again, they require you to understand this speech. And just because I have gotten poor, what's the word I'm looking for? I've gotten poor participation on this literary squares assignment. Doesn't mean that I'm going to change my lesson plans for the next 2 weeks. I'm not going to do it. Okay? You guys have a project to do, and you need to do the work, and you need to do it how I've asked you to do it. Okay? I'm begging you to watch the video. And then here I want you to write the definition. I'm going to do a new cats. We're going to redo the cats. So many of you did really poorly because you didn't follow this step. Okay, so step two required you to read the I Have a Dream speech and then in your own words summarize each section. So several people have done step one, but they haven't done step two. So you were supposed to go through and read each of these things. If there were links, you were supposed to click on them so that you can better understand the speech. I spent hours putting together this document trying to make it easy for you to understand. Okay? Please use the links. And then over here, you're supposed to write in your own words what you think this section is saying. Just summarize it. Okay? So if you don't summarize this section in your own words, I can't tell whether or not you understood the main ideas of the speech. And you need to understand the main ideas. So I need you to please, please go back and make sure you've done this step as I've asked you to do it. Step three, then, was to reread the speech again as many times as you have to. As many times as needed to find an example of each literary device. And I gave you a whole week to do this assignment. So there is no reason why you shouldn't have had time to read more than once if you needed to. Okay? So what a lot of people did then, oh, and I'm sorry, this is an example of somebody's actual work, somebody who did the work, but this is what they should look like, okay? So what this student has done is he's put a definition here, he's given me an example from the speech that he thinks is that device, he's given me the context, what was Martin Luther King talking about in the speech when he said these lines, and by the way, if you didn't summarize, then you don't understand the context, okay? So see how this all builds on each other? This is what we call scaffolding in EduSpeak. I am giving you this in increments and saying, first do this, then do this, then do this. Okay, it's like building a scaffold against the side of a building so that you have support if you have to like paint or wash the windows. Okay, you need that support to stand on so that you can go to the next step. So if you skipped step 1 or you skipped step 2 or somehow blew them off in some other way, you can't do step 3. Okay? So, you know, you guys, I know that I sound like I'm being mean, but I'm so frustrated. I'm just trying so hard to help you. You need to follow the directions. If you're frustrated, chances are you probably weren't following the directions. Okay? So then he wrote his interpretation of what those lines mean. It should, you know, your squares should be full. Okay? But here's what I'm seeing a lot of. I'm seeing people have a definition here written. 90% of you have copied and pasted it from somewhere on the internet instead of watching the video. And then you didn't do any of the other squares. So basically, you didn't do the work. Like if all you did was give me a definition here, then you probably got 3 out of 20 on this assignment because on the rubric, that's where you fall. Okay? I have sent you guys multiple messages through email, through GoGuardian about this assignment, warning you it was due. I've done 2 Jaguar Live sessions specifically about this assignment, okay? And I still have such a low turn-in rate that I am fearful that by the end of the 3rd quarter, most of you are going to fail. Because all of your work for the rest of the quarter is based on this speech. You simply have to do this. You have to do this. Okay? So, if you have not already done this assignment, or if you have done it and I've indicated in the comments on Google Classroom that it is incomplete, I need you to please stop what you're doing with other assignments for this class and make sure this one is finished today. Because if this is your primary goal for this class, I don't care what other work you don't have done. Forget about that right now and just do this assignment. This is the most important one, the basis for the next 2 weeks. Okay? If you have questions, please reach out to me and ask the questions so that I can help you be successful. Okay? I'm not mad at you. I'm just so afraid that my students aren't going to pass because they haven't done this work. Okay? So please let me know what you need and get to work.